Welcome to Warrior Commission Now, where we talk about practical ways for you to live out your commission with the Lord. I'm Christine Casten.
And I'm Sharon Rudolph.
And Sharon and I are going to talk about a subject that's actually fairly serious. It's a topic that is near and dear to our hearts. We see so many people that become a part of the Warrior Commission who are living in a state of being de-churched, and what that looks like for us and what we understand that to be, is something we're going to talk about as we unpack that information on this particular video. But our heart goes out to the people who feel de-churched and disenfranchised. We've been there ourselves. And part of that is because when you are passionately pursuing the Lord, and when you have a desire to connect with others who are running toward his heart and who are finding his heart, sometimes it's difficult to find people that you can actually interact with and talk with about it without them looking at you like you've grown a third head. So anyway, it's one of those things that we really want to encourage you in this moment. If you feel this way, and if you feel like this resonates with you as we talk through it, no, you're not alone. The enemy wants to isolate us and make us feel like we're alone, but it's really a move of God. And that move is taking us into the next season that he has for us. So you're very much a part of that. So just want to encourage you up front. But Sharon, do you want to talk a little bit about the idea of feeling disenfranchised or de-churched, so that we can unpack this a little bit and kind of help people identify what this looks like and is?
For people who have a passionate heart for God, you want to be around other people who also have a passionate heart for God, and see that relationship with God goes beyond form or performance. That God really does want a connected relationship with us. And that's emotional. It involves conversation. There's a lot of aspects to this real, tangible relationship with Father God. And there are a lot of amazing churches out there that are doing awesome ministry. They're helping people. They may have great worship, but connected relationship with God that's also connected to other people is oftentimes hard to find. It's hard to feel safe in that place. And in that, church can become stale or stagnant or even feel dead. And I know I've talked to several people who have been church shopping of late because they're looking for something that they're not finding sitting in a pew or a padded chair, depending on where you end up. So, but God has something for us in relationship with him that goes beyond form and practice. And I love how in the Warrior Commission, we train into that. We train into how to have a relational connection with God and relational connection with other believers. And in that place of sharing, the truth and reality of God just expands.
And there's an excitement that comes as well. And I think part of the challenge that people feel is they feel lonely even when surrounded by people. And I think part of that loneliness we're seeing as we read different studies that are out there, and people talking about this growing population of people who absolutely love God but are not connected to groups that are religious groups. And some of that, it's not that those groups are bad. Please understand, we are not in a place of judgment. What we're in a place of talking about is that God is shifting us from a program-oriented mindset to a relational, connected mindset. And in the process of that, we're all in different places of seeing that happen and seeing that work. And And some of the things that we've tried to establish in like a small group format has been to answer that need, but it just hasn't. And part of that is because we have cultures that have been developed that are about posturing and performance and about, trying to fit in and putting a facade up, of being, oh yeah, I'm this Christian and everything happens, it's great and God's wonderful and and everything's good, and yet the deeper conversations don't happen and the connections don't happen because people aren't real with each other. And sharing your heart is not the same as connecting to people. There's not always a connection involves an exchange. So there's something that has to do with, we have to relearn how to have relationship again. And we have to relearn how to have relationship in a way that is also in a group. And that's one of the things we've been exploring in the Warrior Commission, is what does true community look like with relationship, not just, oh, I'm part of this bigger body, but true interaction and connection and heart to heart. I know you, you know me. And that can be a little bit scary sometimes. So Sharon, do you want to talk a little bit about how that can be a little bit scary, and just kind of some of the things that you look for, so that that some places is a good place to be vulnerable like that and to connect with others?
Well, it's very difficult to be vulnerable if you're not around other people willing to be vulnerable. And because real heart-to-heart connection is not a counselor situation. It's not a hierarchy situation. And I've been in a lot of places where people are expected to be vulnerable, but the person you're being vulnerable with, you don't really know. You don't have a heart connection with them because they're not vulnerable with you. Right. And in the family of God, as sons and daughters of God, it is possible to be vulnerable and have heart-to-heart connection with other people. But you look for people who are willing to be transparent and vulnerable. And in that space, God shows up and creates safety. And in my journey, God has brought me through so many wonderful relationships, good leadership. He's taught me so many things. And the peace that he has shown me is his compassion for a heart that wants connection and a heart that's passionate for him, and his passion to help us find it. And I know that he really wants us to not give up looking for it. And I think there are a lot of people who, I'm not finding it, and they quit looking. So don't quit looking.
Right. There are more and more groups out there. Yes, we're one that's pursuing this, but there are more and more groups out there that are really seeing the value in this relational connection and are asking the Lord for how do we create the space? How do we create the opportunities for these connections? And I know that, one of the things that has been the huge shift is that most of our relationships have been developed through function. So in other words, what we do is how we connect. And so we connect through activities and actions, but we don't necessarily connect through relationship. And so, for example, one of the things that we do on a weekly basis is we have a conversation every week. We set aside a little bit longer amount of time than what we normally do. So it's not just a check the box function only conversation. The majority of our conversation is about what's going on in your life. What's God doing? How is he showing up? What are you learning? How are you growing? And we have this heart to heart interchange, and then maybe 10 to 15 minutes is functional of the 2 hours that we have. We go ahead and set aside 2 hours. That's what we like to have plenty of time to we're talking. We talk a lot. But for us, we just put that function component in it. But our relationship is not only functional, it's heart to heart connected.
Right. And it's so cool. I know a lot of my best relationship started because we were in ministry together. We were doing Sunday school, or went on a mission trip, those sorts of things. And when you have heart-to-heart connection with someone, when the function's done, you're still friends.
Yeah.
You still want to connect. You still want to see who is God for them. And it goes beyond the thing you do with each other.
Right.
So in the Warrior Commission, we actually train towards that. We encourage that. We do have small groups. We do group mentoring, and we create an environment where it's safe to practice. How the heck do I do heart-to-heart connection?
Right. What does that look like? I'm not sure I've seen that before.
How do I do it? And so we just want to encourage you to check out our website, thewarriorcommission.com. You can send us questions through the inquiry link, and we encourage you to look for heart-to-heart connection, because there's a good possibility it's a missing link in your life that the Lord is passionate to help you find an answer to. So, and the Warrior
and you don't have to be disconnected anymore.
No, you don't. So the Warrior Commission is a place to explore that. Come check us out.